We are implementing the county's emergency management plan, activating the Hurricane Emergency Operations Center to coordinate activities in response of Hurricane Laura. As you all know, weather situation can change, and it is continuing to change. Even now, we don't even know 100% how it is going to hit the shore. And so I encourage everyone to stay careful and stay prepared, and also get the information from the right sources. And I encourage everyone to continue to follow the social media pages and also the website of Fort Bend County Homeland Security and Emergency Management. The address is www.fbcoem.org. And also we talk about it many times, signing up for the emergency texting alerts. And I encourage you to pick up your phone and dial 888-777 and punch in FBC alert and send it. And that means you are going to be signed on to our emergency notification system in case we need to communicate with you. And I just also wanted to let you know that COVID-19 is still here almost 6 months later. And it is affecting our communities, and we need to continue to be cautious about our behavior when we are out. And we know that wearing a mask and also social distancing and also avoiding large gathering, we are doing it in Fort Bend County, and we are seeing results of it. And we are seeing the result very encouraging. Our hospitalization rate is going down. But I just wanted to remind, this is not the time to let our guard down. We just need to make sure we are following it so that we could combat this enemy and get back to our normal life. And with that, I will, at this point, I will invite, our Fort Bend County Emergency Management Coordinator, Mark Flathouse, to share more information about this weather situation.
Good morning. Over the last few days, we've had a lot of storms in the Gulf moving this direction. We know that Laura, over the last 24 hours, has had landfall everywhere down from Freeport all the way to the Texas-Louisiana coast. We know that it's moving into a Cat 3-4 storm into the coast, and we know that it's supposed to take a hard right turn and go up north. But because of the information and the changes over the last 3 to 4 days, we want to make sure that we are prepared, just like the citizens of Fort Bend County should be prepared. Fort Bend County is considered what we call a pass-through county. We want to maintain our roadways, making sure that the evacuations over the last 24 hours from Galveston and Brazoria County and other counties that have issued the evacuations, we want to make sure our roadways are clear. The Emergency Operations Center and the team that involves multiple county departments and jurisdictions throughout Fort Bend County are working together to make sure that we are maintaining our roads, our mobility, and our evacuations so they can get to central Texas and away from where the storm is. Over the next few hours, we're going to make sure that our Emergency Operations Center is in full force with staff members and jurisdictions as we move into the evening hours and not knowing what the storm is going to do when it comes to the coast of Texas. If the storm goes northward, there's two things that we need to learn from this storm. And there's two things that we need to do. First thing is, no matter where it hits, we need to say our prayers that those people are safe with the storm surge. And we want to make sure that whether it's Louisiana, Texas, or anybody, that everyone stays safe and hopefully has adhered to the warnings of their local government. If it comes all the way to the left and hits the Houston, Harris County, and Fort Bend County area and Brazoria, we're going to be ready. And that's what we're doing, is that we're preparing ahead of the curve to make sure that we are, if the storm decides to make landfall on Galveston, we will be impacted by the wind and the rain. So the next 12 hours are critical for Fort Bend County to see if, one, that we are going to be impacted and what impacts are going to be due. And the other thing is if it does not impact us directly, that we are here for all the other citizens on the coast and throughout Texas. We want to make sure that this is a very strong storm, very fast-moving storm. And I know we're on the heels of the anniversary of Harvey and other storms that have impacted our citizens. But with that being said, this one's a little different because it's a very fast-moving, strong winds, where Harvey was a rain storm and dumped a lot of water. The predictions is that this one will be very high wind with a Cat 4 with 120 plus mile per hour winds, no matter where it hits. So with that being said, be prepared. Regardless of if it's sunny outside right now, 12 hours, it will change. So with that being said, we'll be ready and we're pushing out information from FBC Alert, what the judge has just mentioned, or on our websites, our social media. Make sure you get it from the right source, and we'll be ready. Hopefully you are too. Thank you.
Since any hurricane can possibly lead to flooding, and I just wanted to invite our drainage director, Mark Vogler, to give an update. Mark?
Thank you. I'm going to give just a brief update on the conditions here in Fort Bend County relating to drainage. The conditions really couldn't get any better than they are right now. The ground is relatively dry. All our channels are empty. The Brazos River is low. Barker Reservoir is empty and has full storage capacity available. The direction the storm is predicted to go is up to the northeast, but if it changes and heads up to the northwest, the reservoirs along the Brazos River watershed are all empty and have full storage capacity available on them. Again, we're expecting a storm moving very fast, headed up in a northeast direction, and we get 3 to 5 inches over a 6 to 7 hour period of time, or even 3 hour period of time. Our system should function well, and we shouldn't see any significant flooding occur as a result of that. There will be some street flooding possibly, because that's the drainage path for the water to get out of individual subdivisions, but it should be expected and is nothing that's out of the ordinary. Thank you.
Thank you, Mark. That is actually good news for us in Fort Bend County, and I just wanted to say I wanted to encourage all our residents to, if you are not on an emergency, please stay off the roads. And as of yesterday, I signed an order to waive the toll on Fort Bend Toll Road, Grand Parkway, and also part of West Park Toll Road, because we wanted to work with our partners, especially the coastal counties. When they are evacuating, we want to make sure we are prepared to accommodate them. And so once again, I encourage, if you don't have to get on the road, please stay off the road so that those who are evacuating have, if they could get moving and reach their destination faster. And obviously, like I said, again, this is a flood situation this is a hurricane situation we are watching very closely, and we will be updating our social media pages, and as our emergency manager Mark Flathouse mentioned, the Fort Bend County OEM website and social media, we will be constantly updating. And please stay informed, please be safe. And I wanted to wish you the very best in Fort Bend County, and also my heart goes out to the people who are in the path of the storm, and we will work with those local jurisdictions, whatever we can do to help and support them in this situation. With that, if you have any questions, we will entertain at this point. Yes, sir.
What does the disaster declaration actually do for our county?
See, it's actually, most of the time, the disaster declaration, what it does is it's actually provide us more resources, more personnel, and it's actually we can react to any situation on a faster manner.
How does it provide you personnel and resources?
If
Federal resources, federal personnel, or what?
Because when you are applying for, see, there are federal government. Yeah, I will invite Mark Lighthouse to answer that question.
Signing a disaster declaration. So there's 2 avenues here. So the governor already did it for this county along with coastal counties. What that does is open up the funding source to make sure that we can get the resources and that we can basically help pay for it from the state and federal level. That's the key factor is that we do it before the actual storm gets here. This disaster declaration is only good for about 7 days. It basically enacts that the emergency management team can request things and get things staged if available. And so that's the key thing, is that we want to make sure that we're kind of ahead of the curve instead of behind the curve. And when we're having a storm this capacity, having a disaster declaration, it gives gives the judge the authority to make decisions quicker when it comes to asking for resources.
Judge, are you thinking in the possibility to have shelters on this area in case that it's going to be necessary for people?
Can you repeat that question one more?
Yeah, are you thinking in the possibility to have any shelters on the area in case that people need it?
Any shelters?
Yes.
Yeah, absolutely. I will ask Mark to answer that question, please.
So with shelters, it's two things. First thing is that we're considered a pass-through county. So the kicker is a storm this capacity, we're still too close to the coast. If that storm would come straight into Galveston, we don't want to set up shelters when we're having 120 mile per hour winds coming into our county. So for that reason, we don't have any shelters set up beforehand. We want them to get to Central Texas away and out of the storm. But on the flip side of that is we want to make sure that we have great partners, not only with our churches, but also with Red Cross and other avenues that are in our EOC and that work with us. We have games in plan, we have stuff staged to set up shelters in a timely manner. And the way that we kind of work with shelters and give an idea and understanding is if people can evacuate or anything along those lines out of Fort Bend County, then we'll enact that. Right now, we haven't, the judge has not issued any evacuations for Fort Bend County, so therefore the shelter plan has not been enacted. But we are proactive, and we have plenty of, because we also know that we want to be a regional partner, and we want to make sure that if another county, as in Galveston County, Brazoria County, Harris County, does get impacted by this, that we can assist and help out with their citizens. So we've got great partners and great plans in place, but since we haven't done our evacuation, or there's not a need at this time, saying that, you know, we're not going to set up those shelters, but we've got plenty of plans in place to have it done in a very timely manner.
Talking about the window of time,
Yep.
which is going to be the less time that you have to consider to issue an evacuation order?
Well, there's two things, is that we take a recommendation of what the region and the National Weather Service, and those things is the judge can implement an evacuation, and we can get that plan and enact within minutes. We can push that information out, work with our law enforcement partners, work with the social media and everything else getting out there. It doesn't take that long because we got a great team and great partnership throughout this county. We met with all the mayors virtually, of course, but we've been in constant communication through the judge's office with all the mayors and all the other jurisdictions. If those orders do come in place on any future, hurricanes, evacuations, those things, it doesn't take long for us to get the plan in place. And before we push it out, we've got all the planners within the Emergency Operations Center to put that together.
Do you consider, Judge?
Yeah. Thank you. And I also wanted to reiterate, Mark just mentioned, we are in constant contact with, and we are coordinating with our local mayors and also our other jurisdiction, Mud District, Lid District, and all that. And we had meeting a few days ago with Red Cross and other partners. So we are, as rightfully Mark mentioned, in case if we need it, we are ready to act. But at this point, we don't see an imminent need, so we are standing by. And even Red Cross is standing by if in case we need it. So they are actually even leaving personnel in Fort Bend County. Of course, they are going to go to the east of our county, but they are actually, if in case, they assured me if in case we need it, they are ready also for Fort Bend County.
Do you consider that we are better prepared right now that when Harvey just hit our region?
My goal is always we need to, it's okay to prepare more than we need. And you know, I honestly believe we are better prepared, and we have an evacuation plan in place. We have parts, point of distribution, that all we have on the paper, so that if we need to enact any of that stuff, we have it ready. And we are working very closely with our, you know, the emergency manager and other team in Fort Bend County, our regional partners, our nonprofit partners. We are working with each and every one of them. And so I believe we are in a good shape at the moment. Yeah.
Just to follow up on that, I was just curious what the level of coordination is, if at all, with the National Guard that the governor recently mobilized. I'm just curious if there's any involvement on that end with your office. Or
Can you repeat that one more question, one more time?
I was just curious about the level of coordination, if applicable, with the National Guard.
See, I'm very honored to say that I did have a phone call from, get a phone call from Governor Abbott, and we talked about at least 2-3 minutes about preparation. And he said if anything we need, he even actually pointed the contact person from TDM. And so we see a very good coordination at every level this time around. So I feel very confident about our preparation, level of preparation in our county right now. Yes.
About the COVID-19 situation here, you talked about the hospitalization rate going down, but obviously with the storm, there's a lot of people going in panicking. Are you worried about maybe people, like you said, losing their guard and lowering their guard with this virus and worried about another possible spike?
Yeah, I am concerned about it because what happened is we got two things, together, and so when you're running for your life, maybe the last thing you're worried about social distancing. So that's why I was mentioning and I was making sure I point out it is important, it is very important we continue to keep our let our guard stay and be careful and all this because it's clearly visible that we did masking. We did social distancing and not large gathering. It is working, and so we wanted to continue to work. Answer your question, sir. It is a concern, but I have full faith in our citizens, and I know that they behave very responsibly under the circumstances.
We have almost 14,000 positive cases here in Corbin County, and you say the cases go down right now, hospitalization cases go down right now, but my question is, we are still under the red light on Corbin County?
Yeah, and so that is also we are evaluating our red alert, the threat level, and you will be hearing from us pretty soon, probably in a positive way we are moving. So at the moment I don't have an announcement, but we are evaluating that too, and threat level possibly can go down in the coming days. And so overall, when it comes to COVID, I believe we are in a much better shape than maybe 2-3 weeks ago, maybe a month ago. And so so we are actually focusing on that, but let's focus more on the hurricane because that's an imminent threat. And so we will be working with both situations together. With that, I really appreciate you all are being here, and I appreciate your time, and thank you for telling the story to the people. And once again, I want our residents to know that we are doing everything possible to support and help, and we will continue to do that to make Fort Bend County a safe place for our citizens. Thank you very much.
Doing all right?